Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. It is Thursday. It is cold and it is very windy. So, down here in the south we have a saying, if you don't like the weather, just wait a few days. It's subject to change to your liking. Well, I liked the weather the other day. I don't really like it today. And it's supposed to be down to sub-zero wind chills this weekend. High 35 Sunday. So, anyway, but I got my parts in. And this is the proportion valve I bought off eBay. I think it was $36, $37 shipping, free shipping. And it's a brass block. It's the drum disc proportion valve. They also make a disc. I bought one just like this, put on my 83 K10 with a diesel in it because I put disc brakes in the back, had disc in front, so I had to buy a new one. It works very well, so I'm hoping this is going to work good. It looks very similar as far as the layout of where all the brake lines go in. You got one goes in this end, goes to the back, two in the front, one coming in, or two coming in. Got two coming in, two going out to the front, one going out the rear. And then of course that's where you switch. We'll go show you a low brake pressure attached there. And this is a GM style proportion valve, so it should fit up real good. I also got my transmission mounts, DEA products, come from Rock Auto. And I started to get the urethane ones. They were like $50-something a set. And I think I got all these for less than 20 bucks. These here, the bottom parts ain't like $3 a piece. Of course, but you know, those are factory style rubber bushings. Piece here goes on the top. It's got I guess a piece of metal here. Feels like metal. And then of course these little ones mount up underneath. And they make two different styles of these. Some of them got the curved edges, some of them got a squared edge. Here's the ones I took off. You can see they're swelled up really, really bad. I mean, the rubber it's swelled. This is the bottom pieces here. So, of course, these are gonna go, you know, right here. They go over this mount, and then the other one will go right there. And then the transmission, the adapter actually is what mounts right there between the transmission and transfer case. And of course the proportion valve mounts up here at the front. And I also got the clutch from Rock Auto. I hadn't looked at it yet. So we'll get all this stuff off, we'll take a look at the clutch. So here's the clutch. It's a Luke, I guess, LUK replacement set, rep set. And the reason I went with this is because it also includes the pilot bearing, of course the alignment tool, and as you can see in there, it's also got the throwout bearing, pressure plate, clutch disc, all one set. I didn't have to buy everything separate. Alright, so the first thing I did, I cleaned up my bolts on the wire wheel grinder, and I put some masking tape over these top two holes. That's where the lines going to the master cylinder is going to attach. It's just to try to keep a little trash out of there. So now that we've got it ready to mount, we're just going to slide our bolts in the holes. These are lock nuts, so I ain't got to worry about them coming off. And I'm not going to tighten it all the way up right now. I'm going to leave it a little bit loose, but I am going to tighten up more than it is. Still gives us a little bit of play to help try to get that stuff lined up. And shouldn't have, hopefully, no issues getting this stuff lined up. This one might be a little short. Probably could have went ahead and put that one on to start with. It's on the bottom. It's going to be the hardest. You can see. I think once we get it in there, get started, we'll go. Now, when I clean these lines, I tried to get these nuts freed up where they would turn. I don't feel like that one's going in. Yeah, that's probably one I should have started first, because that's the hardest to see. Now, of course, it always helps to have the that's a little bit hole that thing's got to hit. It's very, this one's very difficult, but we can pull it up, get them lined up. Try to get it lined up. There it goes. Now, just want to get it started. And let's see, that big one goes right here in the end. This one goes right here. So I think that's really going to be the hardest one to start. Is that bottom one. We can maneuver it back in. And probably go ahead and get it tight. Now, got her tight now. Now we just need to find the right wrench to fit that go. Guess what? It ain't ½ inch. That one's 9/16. We just want to really get them snug at this point. And of course, once we get fluid going through them, if we've got leaks, we can really tighten them down a little more. I just don't like to really tighten them up real hard initially. And this one I didn't ever fool with because I never took it off the truck. And it probably could use a little bit of cleaning on the threads, but it's one of the few I didn't do nothing with because I would have had to took that off to get to it. So it's a shame, but it's the way it is. Started anyway. It's also 9/16. And luckily, these came out with no trouble. I didn't round the nut off on the end. Some of them I did have to use a pipe wrench to break free that back one especially. I should have put a new end on it, but I guess I could go back and put a new end if I have to. I think I got some ends that will fit it. Just want to get it pretty snug. Alright, and then this big one right here is going to go right in the end right here. This one's probably going to be the hardest one. This one I did kind of boogered up. And yeah, I had to use a pipe wrench. This is the one that was stuck on the proportion valve, and I ended up taking a pipe wrench to get it off, so it really got boogered. Now I could take this off and cut the end of it off, re-flare it, put a new end on. I've got an end that will fit. But first I'm going to try to get it on without doing that, because hopefully we'll never have to touch this thing again down here. There we get it started. That nut's hard to turn by hand. One thing, I got this in my way down here. I can get on part of it. It's not all of it. I did get it started, so I can just keep going with it. So that's in. Now all I like is running those two, and they'll kind of curve over and around and up to there. So now this tape don't really stick good to brass for some reason. It might be because it's cold or something, but it'd be nice to have had plastic plugs put in there, but it didn't come with any. I don't have any. Alright guys, so now I just need to get the fuel lines cleaned up and run so I can go ahead and put this brace on right here, get the motor mounts bolted up, and that's going to take a good bit of time, a lot of cleaning. Well, I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to remember how this line went right here. I guess probably 30 minutes. And I think I finally got it. I could see on some of these, I clean these up, these are pretty rusty, but I could see where the brackets went. These brackets I had left on, and of course I removed them to break them apart to clean them, which is probably not a good idea, but pretty sure that I've got it right, I hope. Although this is kind of trapped up under this right here, so that probably needs to come loose. They got special brackets that's got a little cleat on the bottom of this bracket that fits in a hole. I'll show you. Y'all can see that. You can see this cleat right here. It's got to fit in the hole. So this hole's big, so it's got to go in it. And then of course, getting all this stuff lined up like it's supposed to is not easy. I do remember that this big line, the main fuel line, goes at the bottom of these brackets, except for over here. I got the little line at the bottom, but I ain't sure if both of them were the same. So I still may not have them exactly right. It's almost like this little small bracket here is wanting to get pinched. I mean, small line is wanting to get pinched. This is the vent line. So that goes to the tank. And this goes to the fuel lines going to the front. Now for some reason I was thinking that this fuel line was closer to the frame, but it can't be because right here is the motor mount. Well, the cab mount goes right here. Cab mount goes right here. So it can't be right there. So it can only be where it's at and still makes sense with the bends in it. Although it really don't make a lot of sense when it will poke out so far. Alright, so I've got all my fuel lines now cleaned up. And that was a mess because there was a lot of grit and grime and rust. Not so much rust as dirt and old baked on oil and grease. These here had a lot more rust on them. And they come clean fairly good. So now it's just a matter of getting all these others run. Now this one line in the front, I don't know if y'all can see. There's one line up here in the front that is a vent line that vents the tank to the canister, charcoal canister. So I've got to figure out exactly where it goes. I've left the cleats on it, so I'm hoping that it just goes right here, because the canister is going to sit right here. It's just a matter of, I think it goes like that right there. So I got to get some bolts and get those attached. Go ahead and start building it back from the front. So one of them's going to go, I believe, right here. I will be getting some fuel line to finish hooking the fuel lines up, help me out. And that's really all we like. There's two different size fuel lines here. Got a smaller one and a bigger one, 3/8. 3/8 I'm pretty sure. To get this main fuel line finished running it, figure out where the brackets go. I'll look on the dually to see where they bolt up. And getting the motor set in, the transfer case and transmission set in. And we'll move on to the cab as soon as we get all this stuff together. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.